from the very beginning of production, um, myself, along with the director of photography, Ian McGibbon, and production designer, Tim Evatt, came up with what we later referred to as the 3 Cs to kind of govern how we were going to sell this movie, how we were going to make this movie feel like we wanted it to feel. And the first one was cohesive, meaning we wanted the film, the world to feel like it all fit together, that Buzz, the character, the person existed in this world, that things fit together seamlessly, just like you would expect walking down your street. Nothing sticks out as being amiss or feeling like it's from a different place. So cohesive was the first, clear was the second, and clarity is key in an animated film, and especially in an animated film with a bit of a complex story where you're trying to keep the audience following a series of events, following a character's emotional arc. All that requires a lot of investment from the audience. And the more you can direct them visually with what they should be looking at in any particular shot and any particular scene, the easier it will be to keep them involved. So clarity in the image was really, really important. And we did that through lighting, having things in shadow, having atmosphere in the background, or less depth of field than you might expect, meaning things are blurrier in the background, all to get us to just focus on specific information in the frame. The third one was cinematic. And Angus talks about cinematic a lot. I talk about cinematic. When I think of films that are cinematic, I'm thinking of films that have images that have stuck in my head long after I've walked out of the theater. So how do we make this film feel like it was really shot? How do we take advantage of what we love, or how do we take what we've loved in sci-fi films, adventure films from the past, and put them in this film to kind of give it that realism and give it that immediacy that those films have had. Spaceships are definitely a challenge. Shooting inside them is a challenge. I like to think, at least internally, Pixar has this reputation for like, what's the smallest space you can shove a camera in and still actually get something that looks halfway decent? And we keep finding more and more of those situations. So, Buzz sitting in his cockpit, there's a whole history of film of characters flying planes or characters flying spaceships. We could certainly draw on some of that language. But we found that choosing several kind of key angles really helped us get the audience used to traveling in there and used to, feeling like they were strapped in with Buzz. There's not a lot of space in those cockpits. So although you can kind of do anything in CG, using that as a limitation of like, well, I can only actually stick the camera in about 3 places. And then when I need to add some punch to that moment, I can find some unique way of shooting it just for that section that, kind of pushes it a little bit, but still works, but now suddenly feels more exciting than the thing that we just saw. Early on, Angus had the idea that he wanted this film to be in IMAX, which super exciting. I've never shot in IMAX before. Pixar has never really shot in IMAX before. So this was a great challenge. And we took about a third of the film we felt would be the most suitable for IMAX, which, meaning it would lend itself to that 1:3 boxier aspect ratio much better than the other scenes. And it's spread throughout the film. So you get some in the beginning, some in the middle, and some in the end, which is great. So we filmed those scenes in that aspect ratio from day one. So a scene in the movie we knew we wanted to be in IMAX, that's how we shot it. And when I say we shot it in IMAX, I mean we developed a second lens kit specific for IMAX. We were using a larger format camera, much like they would in live action shooting IMAX, with different properties to the lens. Things look different. The depth of the scene is different. The relationships, foreground and background, are different. It's just a different look, and it may not be recognizable to some, but it is to film geeks like me. And it kind of grounded us in like, okay, this is different. We're shooting this in a different way for IMAX, even though it's all on the computer and it's all a bunch of code and numbers. So those sequences in the regular non-IMAX version, we have cropped out the center to make the widescreen film that you'll see in any regular theater. But even that was all derived from IMAX. So we really took that challenge seriously and embraced that opportunity to shoot in a different way. It was super fun.